I saw somebody's pointing out on the Brother John F video today, and I did watch it. You know, he's talking about the dollar going down and stuff, and I'm gonna say I think this is just a hard, fast correction. I don't think it's gonna last long term. You know, I know what Jim Rogers is saying, and I know what all these people are saying about different things. I don't, you know, I know Brother John F is also saying about, you know, somebody pointed this out in his video, but I was watching like what the Chris Duanes were saying, to Andrew McGuire, the Big Square. These guys are, well, they do what the hell they want, but I think it's actually just going on with a hard correction period where it's going to just have a fast dip. Maybe over the next couple weeks, this is what Mark Farber's saying, who's actually hooked in with Jared Sprott, but this is what he's saying. He's saying over the next couple weeks, we'll see what's going to happen, how it flushes out. So, you know, and it could actually spring back up faster. Now, I'm not saying that in like a technical sense exactly, or in a, you know, by the graphs or anything. You know, it's just typical that when you have something like in the commodities that takes a dip like that, that's what it turns out to be. It's not like a crash, you know, if the level's off. It's usually a dip. That's usually what it is. And you can get 50,000 opinions on anything you want. In financial news, if you want to find an opinion that's bullish, you'll find an opinion that's bullish. You want to find one that's bearish, you'll find one bearish. You'll find super bears, super moderate bears, super bulls, moderate bulls. People are saying it's not going to do nothing. You can find any opinion you want. But you know, that's why I like to use the most simplistic common sense going, because that usually serves it better. But they can't really get it out of the ground this cheap and be profitable. So that equation isn't going to keep going. And that is actually, since silver, platinum, and palladium are all industrial metals, being at these price levels means that the economy and production of goods and services is low. Because actually silver is actually used in everything, pretty much. Well, it's a very widely used commodity. Like the only one that's actually has more various uses for a commodity is oil. Silver is like a very widely used commodity. So if the economy was doing good and things are as rosy as, you know, they're painting the numbers on the gross domestic product and everything, and the manufacturing index in the United States isn't doing too bad, well, something is like amiss here, because then silver should be at least at a price that the mines will actually make some money. That's why I don't think this is going to last too long. But that's applying plain old common sense. Now, I know Brother John, I saw that thing. I don't know what's up with these guys. They're excessive. That's my opinion. These people are super bulls on silver and everything. He says that, you know, and it comes from this Andrew McGuire, that the London Bullion Exchange, whatever, is going to default on the delivery of metals. That's why they brought the price down, to get everything so they can pay people off and stuff like that. So, you know, but they're going to default in the next week or so. That's what Big Square says. And you know, that'll be nice if they default. The silver's going up through the roof. So, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're just, but I don't think it's as bad as people think it is, and I don't really consider it bad in a way, because typically you want this, like this dive like this, to reset it. You know, that's usually, in other words, that's usually how it causes the thing to start taking off again, and then it can do a bubble the other way. So. And the other thing is, I kept saying is, I don't know when this war with Iran stuff is going to happen. Actually, if Dick Cheney was president, you know, or something like back, you know, say if Dick Cheney had his way, we almost had a war with Iran for real in 2007. There's been rumors that happened. There was almost a war with Iran last spring. Netanyahu was like being pulled back on a chain by the Mossad. You know, the Israeli Mossad is going, don't do it, you're going to screw it up. You know, they're pulling him back. So, but if there was a war with Iran, everything with commodities and gold and oil and silver is going to go up a lot. That's like the wild card. You don't know what's going to happen. The one thing I kept thinking is, you know, I've been thinking there's going to be something happen with Iran. There's a lot of, but you know, it's a lot of people have been thinking that. But I think it almost happened with Iran a bunch of times. But this is all related to the commodities markets, big time. It changes the whole psychology of everything. Psychology does affect the markets big time, really. And as far as what happened in even the marathon up in Boston, that has affected the markets. That affected the equities markets. That actually pulled them down. But I don't know what's going to happen with that. That might turn out to be some terrorists from another country, or it could be, I don't know. There's going to be people saying it's the people within the United States did it to make it look like a terrorist from another country. There's going to be that type of stuff. That's not the first time that happened too, but I don't know about how that's going to play out. But what I think also, what I keep thinking in the back of my mind, I've been thinking this for so damn long now, and it hasn't really happened yet. But since North Korea is getting so belligerent lately, the last time they got really belligerent, I said this a couple times before, was when they had, it was before the war with Iraq, with the United States having a war with Iraq, with Saddam Hussein. And I think they got, North Korea was a lot more brave because they figured they could attack South Korea when the United States was busy with, bogged down in the Middle East someplace, right? And, I remember I was in the military at the time, and they would basically, the whole thing was, could the United States fight a two-front war, one in Korea and one in Iraq, And there was like all these studies, you'd have to do the one and you'd have to do the other. That's the way the theory was. It wasn't like you couldn't do both at the same time. Really, too much. It's almost like, in the World War II scenario, it was like they went after the Germans first and they concentrated on the Japanese, but I don't want to get into politics here because all these wars are a bunch of scams. I know that. But as far as, like, if that happened, say, for instance, the war with Iran does happen, everything's going to change in the commodities. So it might be that North Korea knows it has more knowledge from the Chinese about what's going to happen in the future here pretty soon. I don't know. Things can turn around very fast. Don't believe these jerks that are saying it's going to be down for 2 years or a year and stuff. I don't buy that. Not at all. But that's why people, well, whatever. We'll see. But, if it turns out that silver was down and it's going to be like a ho-hum period for a long period of time, I'd still keep it. Hey, no problem by me. I'd keep it. But to me, it's, I think the theories are still all in place about a hedge against inflation and a hedge also against maybe a collapse in the banking system. And, that's what Mark Farber's into too, but I don't want to harp too much even on him all the time. But, it does look like there is so much BS involved in the financial world. Basically, anybody that sells financial instruments, that's what they are. They're salesmen. They're selling financial instruments. And, they could be good, they could be bad, but it's all predicated upon a lot of assumptions. And it's like those assumptions can be unraveled very quickly too. So it looks like the pendulum swang hard against the metals, but the pendulum, it just might be reaching the point where it's going to go back. Now, I know, like in a real estate market, I saw that bubble go up for years, then I saw it crash real fast and how bad it crashed. And when it crashed, a lot of people were in the real estate market were in denial, and they were actually rebuying property up in 2008. And it crashed further in 2009, and they're buying more property, and it was crashing more in 2010, and it's still down. But I don't think we got to the bubble yet. That's the thing. I don't think we actually got to the bubble. When real estate was cooking, you can tell that was a bubble. It was like a bubble for a long time. That's what's going to be kind of scary about, because I think silver and gold is actually going to start taking off again. Not like going to get up to 50 right away. Unless, of course, Andrew Maguire is correct about this. But I think it's going to start taking off, and it's not going to be, you're almost going to forget about this blip over here, this downturn. And, but when it starts getting really cooking hot and heavy, there's going to be people telling you never to ever to sell. Well, I'm going to tell you, I think I'm always going to keep a portion of silver, gold, or something like that I'm not going to sell, and maybe some palladium. But if the prices start getting up there, I'm going to be selling in steps, and I definitely know I'm not going to hit the exact top. No way. Nobody gets that damn lucky. But I'm not going to necessarily listen to the guys that are total Super Bowls on the metal all the time, because if this default doesn't occur this time, like, because now they're saying it's going to happen in a few weeks. If it don't happen in the next few weeks, I'm going to be like, I don't think it is, to tell you the truth. But hey, to me, it's good. I'm not. Hey, I do hope they do default, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm just holding steady with it. I'm not going to keep adding more silver. I'm going to probably add some more of these golf clubs. These are like, you put the golf club under the scope. I'm going to add some more of those. So those are fun too.